I want to foster again too.
Yay!
I was thinking I'd go to CACC.
I still remember the first time I saw him. We had walked through what felt like an endless row of kennels that day, probably around 250 dogs altogether. Every dog seemed to have its own way of asking for attention. Some were barking, some were jumping against the doors, and some just watched us quietly as we walked by. Then we came to his kennel. He barely picked his head up. He looked over for a second and then just stayed where he was. There wasn't anything dramatic about the moment. I just remember stopping and thinking about him. Later, I found out he had been found on the south side of Chicago in January, wandering outside during one of the coldest parts of the winter. Knowing how cold Chicago gets, I couldn't stop thinking about what he must have gone through just to survive.
Wow. What a marshmallow.
Look at his rolls.
What surprised me the most was that after everything he'd been through, he was still such a gentle dog. He wasn't afraid of people. He wasn't angry. He just seemed quiet, almost like he was waiting for someone to notice him. That's when I said I wanted to foster him.
Are you ready?
Let's go. Okay.
Yeah.
The ride home was pretty uneventful. He quietly settled into the back seat and spent most of the drive looking out the window. When we got home, he walked around slowly, taking everything in. He wasn't nervous exactly. It just felt like everything was unfamiliar to him.
Come on.
Over the next few days, I started noticing little things about him that made me wonder what his life had been like before he was rescued. One of the first things I noticed was how sensitive he was to the cold. Even when I thought the weather wasn't too bad, he'd start lifting his paws and shivering.
Oh!
We got him a warm coat and little booties for his feet. The first time he wore them, he walked in the funniest way, lifting each foot high off the ground like he couldn't quite figure them out. After a while, he relaxed, and before long, he was happily walking down the sidewalk. It was one of those small moments that made all of us smile. There were a lot of firsts with him. It was his first time having a soft dog bed. At first, he stood next to it and looked at it for a while before finally lying down. Once he realized it was his, he curled up and fell asleep almost immediately. It was also his first stuffed toy. Instead of grabbing it and running around with it like a lot of dogs do, he carefully sniffed it, picked it up, put it back down, and looked at me as if he wasn't sure what he was supposed to do. Watching those little moments made me realize he probably hadn't experienced many of the simple things that most dogs get to enjoy. One thing that always stood out to me was how quiet he was. People would ask if he barked, and honestly, while he was with me, I only heard him bark once, just one time.
Does he bark now? He barked once with me.
Most of the time, he was perfectly content just being close to people. He liked following me from room to room, finding a comfortable place to lie down nearby, and simply being part of whatever was going on. As the weeks went by, I could see little changes. His tail wagged more often. He started looking more relaxed. His eyes seemed softer. It wasn't some huge transformation that happened overnight. It was slow, and I think that's how real healing usually works. Every day he seemed just a little more comfortable than the day before. Even though I grew attached to him, I always reminded myself that fostering was about helping him find the right home. As I got to know him better, I realized there was one thing I really hoped for in his future family. I wanted him to have another dog in the house. It seemed like being around a confident, happy dog would help him learn all the little things he had probably missed. Things like playing, running around the yard, greeting people at the door, and simply enjoying life without worrying about what might happen next.
Who's that? Oh, eat him. Wow.
That's why I was so happy when he was adopted by a family with an older dog named Lola. She turned out to be exactly what he needed. From everything I've seen since then, she helped him come out of his shell in a way that people probably couldn't have done on their own. They became friends, and little by little, he started acting more like any other happy dog. He played more, he explored more, he looked more confident. Every update I received from his new family made me smile because I could see how much he had changed. Looking back at the dog who barely lifted his head in the shelter, it's hard to believe how far he came. One of the things I love most about fostering is getting to see that journey. You meet a dog on one of the hardest days of their life, and if you're lucky, you also get to see them living the life they were always meant to have. It's hard to explain how rewarding that feels. Of course, it's never easy saying goodbye, but when you know they're going somewhere they can truly be loved, it makes it all worth it. If you're ever thinking about bringing a pet into your family, I hope you'll consider visiting your local shelter first. There are so many wonderful dogs waiting there, and many of them are just like him. They may not be the loudest dog in the room or the first one to run up to the kennel door, but that doesn't mean they have any less love to give. Sometimes the quiet dogs simply need a little more time and a little more patience before they feel safe enough to show you who they really are. If you decide to adopt, try to keep an open mind and let the animal set the pace. Give them time to settle in, learn your routine, and understand that they're finally home. You may not know everything they've been through, but you can be the reason the rest of their story is a happy one. Sometimes all it takes is one person willing to give them a chance, and that chance can change both of your lives forever.